All right, so let's take a look at, we're going to populate some of these methods. And what I want to do is get the transform of my potato gun that I'm going to attach to this thing. So here is my cube, which I'm going to rename kids toy car. And remember I was saying in the last video, this is going to end up being my um, the like a little toy car that like like a 6 or 7 year old would, but my main character is going to jump in and out of it. So here's my Lena character, and so I'll put her next to it just so you could see. So size reference, if I scale this down a little bit, what I can do, here, let's see if I can show you guys, you can scale it down like that. So say it's like something like this. So just kind of, so she would like kind of jump in, maybe her feet will hang out. I'll do like a cute little animation like that. Let's center our pivot on that. So what I want to do with this is I'm just going to create sort of a like a little default potato gun that hangs off of this. So I'm just going to hit Control D to duplicate this. And what I can do is subdivide this. So subdivide object. And on each one of these edges, I'm going to hit R. And I'm just going to scale them up like this so that it becomes a cylinder. Now I create all of my cylinders out of cubes, and I make all my spheres out of cubes. Let's try that again. So let's just zoom in on the screen. I hit Shift and Spacebar to do that. I wonder if this is just not centering. Because ordinarily you would just hit R and it would center, but now it seems to be working off one side. Let's see if we could center pivot here. Well, I guess I'll just move it. So now we have kind of our rough cylindrical cannon shape. Alright, let me go ahead and clean this up as well. Alright, so now I'm going to make this a child of our object. So let's go ahead and select hidden is on, so I can select all of those elements. That's this right here. So I'm thinking maybe there's a potato gun on the side here, and I'll try to work it into the story. Like maybe she, like as she's running around, like she had stolen this and hidden it in the garage. She's kind of a bad kid. All right, anyway, so there's my potato gun. So I'm gonna go ahead and name this, and these are all placeholders. So I'm falling in love with Blender right now. So maybe I'll do a video on that or how to fix it up in Maya. I don't know, you know. Either way, so here's my potato gun. I'm going to make it a child of my kid's toy car, and then I'm going to save that. Let me close this out for a second. Now, remember, this kid's toy car here has my kid car controller script on it. And so what I'm going to do in start is I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to adjust the rotation speed of my toy car. I'm going to set that right off of the bat and start, right? So I'm going to go ahead and grab that. And these two I'll adjust in my, I'm sorry, the turret backwards and forwards. I'm sorry, the max forward speed and the back forward speed. I'm going to adjust that stuff through the editor later and as I'm moving. So let's go ahead and grab this. And I'm just going to set that to like 150. Now the next thing I'm going to do is, let's just make sure we comment that. So potato gun rotation speed, and then underneath this I'm going to I want to get an object to my potato gun. So so the way I'm going to do that is on our object, right? So I'm going to call this potato gun, right? This variable here. oops, let's do this. So reference to our potato gun. And I'm going to rename my turret to potato gun. And let's make that underscore here. And let's grab that. So that might make a little bit better sense. So here's my potato gun. Now what I want to do is get this object, which is a child, at placement 0 here. So I go in here and I say potato gun equals a game object I'm looking for. And that game object, I want to get its transform. And what I'm doing is, so what this refers to is this current game object this script is attached to, which is the body of our tank. I want to get the transform of one of its children, which happens to be that potato gun, because it's at index 0. So if you look at this one more time, this is our car, right? Well, a child of it would start at element 0. So this is element 0. So we're getting the child of it at 0, which is this. So, and I want to get its transform because I want to rotate it. So there it is. So now that's a reference to our potato gun. Now, what I need is a child of this object, which is going to be a my bullet spawn point, right? So I'm going to grab this, and I'm going to say bullet spawn point. So this is a reference to our bullet, or really our potato. I should just make a potato spawn point. Let's change that. So potato spawn point. And really the best way to do this here, I'm going to control Z that so you can see this, is if you want to refactor this, I'm kind of doing a bad job of showing you the right way to do things in the sense of the hotkeys. I can control RR that, and I can change bullet to potato spawn. Oop. Let's steal that potato word there. There we go. Now let's try that one more time. So control RR, and then you can highlight the part you want to change. And you'll notice it changed it down here. Then I'm going to hit apply. So here's my potato spawn point. And I want to make that equal to my potato gun. And I'm going to get the child of that. Now you might be like, well, that didn't have any children. Well, what we're going to do, dot transform, we're going to make that. And what I'm going to do is, if we go back into here, and I kind of want the pivot to be back here anyway, so here's a trick that I like to do with Pro Builder. Come on. Alright, there we go. It's just updating. If you open Pro Builder and I want my pivot to be down here, notice that you can see that there's the orientation here. You can click global, local, all that stuff. But there isn't really a way to hard move the pivot. So one of the tricks that I do, and I'm hoping that they come out in the future with this, I double click the whole object. And where's that global pivot at? Like orientation normal. There we go. If you move it up a little bit and you move it forward and then you go back to object mode, you can see where my pivot is. So let's try that a little bit again. Let's move that back. Let's do that one more time back here. So it's there. Yep, that's looks pretty good. It's just slightly off. Let's nudge it over and bring it down a little bit. Alright, so for now that's good because I want it to pivot off of that like that. Like I said, we're going to adjust the pivot anyway inside of Maya. Alright, so I'm going to save that. Now what I want to do here is I'm going to right click on the potato gun and I'm going to create an empty object. I'm going to call that muzzle. Now that muzzle object is just going to go in the front here. And this is where our potato is going to fire from. So something like this. And I'm gonna distance it off a little bit because I'd like to have like a little puff of cartoon smoke or something. So, alright, so I'm going to end this video here. And then in the next one, we'll continue and start creating our weapon stuff.